So I guess Antonio Brown is wanted. I don't know how much of this is true, but I just seen this video and I want to check it out. So let's check it out.
Receiver Antonio Brown is in trouble again. This time he's been accused of domestic violence.
Investigators wrote that he threatened to shoot her if she tried to get back into the home and then threw a shoe at her head, hitting her in the ponytail.
Last night, I actually spent some time with some friends that I didn't see in quite some time. As I was hanging out with my friends, I decided to open up Twitter on my phone and just see what's going on in the world of sports. And I saw a source that I didn't necessarily trust say that there's a warrant out for Antonio Brown's arrest. And me being me, whenever I see a source like this, I'll like quote tweet it on Twitter to see whether or not it's something that my followers could verify. At the same time, it was late last night. I felt like I needed to wait and see what information comes out so I could get you guys the full story. Fortunately, the story's true. Before we get to the content, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. And of course, make sure you're following me on Twitter and on Instagram. I really do depend on you guys to make sure I get each and every story right, which I think really makes this channel more and more communal. And I absolutely love what we're building as a result of it. And now that we got all that out of the way, break!
I don't know what the fuck that was. He just randomly screamed play.
Mic check.
Get YouTube Premium and enjoy 3 months.
No, I was looking over here because I could skip.
1, 2, 1.
If I just wait a little bit, but
What's
I'm like,
going
no,
on,
nah.
everybody? I want you guys to look at some of the replies to this tweet. I mean, I find out that Antonio Brown might be headed back to jail. I quoted this tweet in disbelief. Yay, another AB video, giving this man even more attention. This new microphone video is about to go hard. New video very soon, I see. And I think my favorite tweet out of all of them is he put that on too literally. Unfortunately, the report about Antonio Brown is true. This man has been reaching brand new lows each and every month. I mean, typically when a player this man
Tampa police issue arrest warrant for former Buccaneer Antonio Brown for domestic
has been
violence.
reaching brand new lows each and every month. I mean, typically when a player is done with the NFL, I'm usually done talking about them, but not with Antonio Brown, because it seems like this man grabs a headline for the wrong reason each and every
Facing rape accusations, false vaccination. I know about one of them. What is the rape one? That's crazy.
every month, whether that's via trying to smear Tom Brady's name despite the kindness that Tom Brady paid towards him, or just other bizarre extracurricular activities like, I don't know, photoshopping a nude picture of Giselle on his social media page during
What?
ongoing feud with Tom Brady, which by the way is incredibly one-sided and just so freaking strange. I mean, whenever Antonio Brown is questioned about why he has a feud with Tom Brady, he himself can't even give an answer.
Yeah, it's about respect, man. Yeah. This is a parody, man. This is a charity shirt to raise money for the fatherless kids. That's a dig. This is a real moment that happened at the studio, at the game. Play the video. No, it's a dig because you don't understand it. You trying to make me rationalize it. Why you want it? Why?
And what drives me the craziest is Tom Brady literally gave this man a chance to redeem himself in the NFL when no one else wanted to give him a chance. And as a result, won a Super Bowl with him. I mean, you even saw a text message that Tom Brady sent to Antonio Brown a couple years ago expressing concern for the way Antonio Brown is conducting himself. And Antonio Brown tried to post this text message to quote unquote expose Tom Brady. But all he really did was just show how much Tom Brady cared for Antonio Brown. Now, you can make the argument, did Tom Brady really care about Antonio Brown the person? Or did Tom Brady just want to make sure that Antonio Brown stayed out of trouble so he could have a high-end wide receiver 3? To be honest, and this is just based upon my personal experience with the people that I work with, and I'm just going to go based off the assumption that Tom Brady is somewhat similar. Whenever you're working with someone in a mutually beneficial relationship and you're making sacrifices for them, they're making sacrifices for you, there is a part of you that cares about the person. I mean, you could ask the people that work for me, man. I consistently do mental health checks. Are you too exhausted to work checks? Would you like to work more? Would you like to work less? Editor, could you verify this for me? So if Antonio Brown isn't smearing Tom Brady's name, if Antonio Brown isn't in a pool in Dubai, butt naked with another woman, which by the way, your boy's going to Dubai, so if you have any recommendations, please let me know on Instagram or Twitter. Very excited about that. Or if Antonio Brown isn't doing other bizarre things, such as threatening Instagram models for $5,000 and posting it onto his Instagram story, or sneaking in toilet seat licking, clout thirsty OnlyFans model.
Ram had sex round before last Bucks game model who lived totally.
And sleeping with them the day before he decides to take off his jersey and leave the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a public spectacle. The recent news we have on Antonio Brown is really sad and is a brand new low because we found out that there's a warrant out for Antonio Brown's arrest. ESPN verified that everything that you're hearing about Antonio Brown is true. So let's take it from ESPN, and then I'm going to take you to some of the less reputable sources and some of the news that we're hearing, and we could determine some of the other facts for ourselves. Ultimately, I decided to sit on this video for a bit so I can make sure I get you guys every bit of detail that you possibly would need, so we don't have to make a part 1 and a part 2. Ideally, we get everything in one video so you can get the full story and we can move on to other topics. Again, I have a lot of topics to cover for you guys. So the headline reads like this: arrest warrant issued in Tampa Bay for Antonio Brown. Police in Tampa issued an arrest warrant Thursday for former NFL wide receiver Antonio Brown. The active warrant stems from a domestic battery incident involving a woman, Tampa Bay police said. On November 28th at approximately 1:30 p.m., Antonio Brown and the woman were involved in a verbal altercation at his home in South Tampa. The argument became physical, and according to police, Antonio Brown threw a shoe at the victim. Brown also attempted to evict the woman from the home by locking her out. Because on November 29th, a judge denied a petition for a temporary risk protection order to prevent him from possessing firearms or ammunition if he was considered a threat to himself or others. The article then goes to list other instances where Antonio Brown had run-ins with the law, and to be honest, it's stuff that I missed. Like last month, he was ordered to pay $1.2 million to a Broward County moving truck driver after he was arrested for assaulting the driver, which Antonio Brown pleaded no contest. He received 2 years probation, which was terminated 1 year early for good behavior. In addition to this, Fox 13 has a lot of info on this situation. Now, bear in mind, this is not necessarily a source I've used before. So just keep that in mind. This isn't Rap Sheet, this isn't Shefty, and let's continue forward. So according to Fox 13 reporter Aaron Mesmer, police left Antonio Brown's home without Antonio Brown, who is believed to still be inside the residence. A legal expert explained that it's not uncommon for police to leave after trying to issue a warrant if they don't want to escalate things, or they can't physically see him in the home, or negotiating a surrender behind the scenes. They actually took pictures of Antonio Brown's home in this instance. It's really interesting. Look at this. Breaking: Tampa PD attempted to serve an arrest warrant on former Bucks wide receiver Antonio Brown at his South Tampa home for domestic violence. He refused to come out, and police have since left without him. He's believed to still be in the house. See quoted tweet for accusations. Now, this is where I am a little murky on the situation. Maybe my information isn't 100% there. Maybe their information is a little botched up. Maybe you guys could fact check me. According to Aaron
the bench press, a symbol of fitness, unchanged for decades until
Mesmer, former Buccaneers wide receiver Antonio Brown was accused of domestic violence, and according to court documents, mother of 4 of his kids says that he locked her out of her Tampa house, tossed out her belongings, threatened to shoot her, threw a shoe at her, then refused Tampa PD's request to come out. I only know of one woman that Antonio Brown had 3 children with. I don't know if he's had a child since. I don't know if they got the number wrong. To be honest, I don't really know very much about AB's personal life because it's a little all over the place, with all due respect. So I don't really bother myself with all this. My assumption is the woman that he is in this situation with, in this domestic violence situation, at least what I think, is Chelsea Kyrus. So if you don't know who Chelsea Kyrus is, it's probably the most supportive woman that Antonio Brown has ever had. He has 3 or 4 children with her. And to give you an idea, when the New York Jets incident happened with Antonio Brown, Chelsea Kyrus defended him. Even after he slept with the toilet seat licking OnlyFans model, she defended defended him. She even said that she would not leave her baby daddy despite the entire situation. She said
That's
everyone
crazy.
in this world, whether they admit to it or not, deserves someone who refuses to give up on them. No matter where we are in our relationship, I will always want what's best for him. Now, there's more to this. Like she said, everything I did was out of following my heart and fighting for what I wanted and what was best for our kids, which is more than what money could ever buy. Thank you for being concerned about my life, the negative and the positive side of things, but my choices I made were what I thought were best for me and my family. That's in response to people pretty much criticizing her, saying Antonio Brown treats you horribly. Why the hell are you still in this relationship? I don't want to overanalyze their relationship. That's not what we're here to do. I just want to give a prediction as to who I thought that might be. And the additional information we have on this situation is just bizarre. So there's conflicting reports about what's actually happening. The first is coming from a guy that I really trust. His name's Dove Kleiman. We mention him on this channel all the time, and he even acknowledges that there's conflicting reports here. Breaking: Antonio Brown is reportedly in a standoff with police. He has an arrest warrant for domestic battery. Brown is alleged to have guns in the house. Now, Amy Dash, someone I'm not really familiar with either, said new Tampa Bay police issue arrest warrant for Antonio Brown for alleged battery. Antonio Brown is reportedly engaged in a standoff with police and has locked himself inside his home, refusing to turn himself in on active arrest warrant for alleged battery. Police negotiators are trying to reason with Brown using a megaphone. Brown allegedly has guns in his house. Update: the police department says right now that this remains an active investigation and Brown is quote-unquote wanted. Tampa PD says there have been multiple attempts to take Brown into custody, but to protect the integrity of the investigation, it won't release more info right now. But there's a conflicting report. According to Sam Brock of NBC, there have been multiple attempts to take Antonio Brown into custody, but there is not an ongoing standoff. Police say that he is not communicating. Not sure if he's even in home at this point, but do not want to risk officer safety over a misdemeanor charge. Now, if we want to follow what Amy is saying here, she also says, update: court docs show that this stemmed from an alleged domestic incident with the mother of 4 of Brown's kids, who claims that he threw a shoe at her and threatened to shoot her, then kicked her out of the house. He refused to come out when the police arrived. From the police report, the suspect, Brown, exited the residence and threw a shoe at the victim, striking her in the ponytail. The victim had no injuries but believed that the shoe was meant for her head. The suspect would not open the door or come outside to speak with the officers. The suspect also, during this incident, attempted to issue an informal eviction to the victim. The alleged victim told police that Brown had 2 guns inside the house. Police tried to speak to Brown, according to law enforcement, but he allegedly locked himself inside the house and allegedly threatened to shoot the alleged victim if she tried to enter the house. The police report claims that Brown placed an informal eviction notice on the door with 11/28/2022 at the date, showing the victim has 7 days to gather her belongings and leave. The suspect continued throughout the incident to state that the victim had no right to be at his residence or even gain entry to it because she did not live there. The victim's ID has the listed address as her residence as of October 18, 2022. Since this incident, police obtained an arrest warrant and allegedly have made multiple attempts to arrest Brown without success, according to reports. Update: just spoke to Tampa PD, and due to conflicting reports from multiple outlets, they are gathering details on what occurred when police attempted to arrest Brown, but they are confirming now that Brown, as of this present, is still a wanted man. For clarity, a standoff can have many definitions. Often police may categorize it as an incident when someone threatens violence, but not always. Simply having 2 opposing parties at a stalemate where further action is prevented can also be a standoff. One of the biggest challenges about my career is knowing when to drop a video and identifying when a storyline is officially over. I originally decided that I should wait on this subject matter for about a day and see if there's any update on Antonio Brown on Friday. That didn't end up happening. This is still an ongoing thing. It seems like it's slowed down a little bit. So what I figured was the smart thing to do currently was to get you all the information we have so far. And if there's an update, I'll bring it to you guys here on my Instagram, on TikTok via a short. But ultimately, man, this situation's really crazy. Let's try to have empathy for Antonio Brown because clearly this is a man that has a severe mental illness. And I'm really just wishing the best for his family at this point because it's just really sad to see him consistently trend downward from where he was ever since he won a Super Bowl. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Aside from that, I'm your boy.
Hopefully everything turns out okay and doesn't turn out deadly, cause yeah. But we just have to wait for more shit to come out so then we know more. But yeah, other than that, see you guys later. Subscribe, like both our shits, and bye.